Welcome to this video on Buddhism, a religion and philosophy that has captivated millions of people for over 2,500 years. Today, we will explore the basic teachings of Buddhism, including the life of its founder, Gautama Buddha, and the beliefs and practices that define this ancient tradition. Born into a royal family, Gautama was deeply affected by the suffering he encountered in the world, and he dedicated himself to finding a way to end it. After years of meditation and contemplation, Gautama achieved enlightenment and became known as the Buddha, or Awakened One. He then spent the rest of his life teaching others the path to enlightenment, which he had discovered. The Eightfold Path consists of right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. In Buddhism, there are three universal truths that form the foundation of the Buddhist teachings. The truth of dukkha. Dukkha is a Sanskrit word that is usually translated as suffering or unsatisfactoriness. It refers to the fact that all forms of existence, both physical and mental, are marked by suffering, impermanence, and change. The truth of the cause of dukkha. The cause of suffering is ignorance, craving, and attachment. In other words, suffering arises from our ignorance of the true nature of reality, our craving for things that are impermanent and change, and our attachment to things that bring us temporary pleasure. The truth of the end of dukkha. The end of suffering can be attained through the complete elimination of ignorance, craving, and attachment. This is achieved through the practice of the Eightfold Path, which is the Buddhist path to enlightenment. Concept of nirvana. Nirvana is a central concept in Buddhism and is often described as a state of ultimate liberation and peace. It represents the release from the cycle of rebirth and suffering and is considered to be the ultimate goal of Buddhist practice. In Buddhism, it is believed that the cause of suffering is ignorance, craving, and attachment, and that the elimination of these causes leads to the attainment of nirvana. This state is characterized by the absence of all suffering, the cessation of rebirth, and the attainment of perfect peace and happiness. Key Buddhist teachings. Impermanence. One of the central teachings of Buddhism is the doctrine of impermanence, which states that all things are subject to change and nothing remains the same forever. This includes not just physical objects but also mental and emotional states, and the self. Interdependence. Another key teaching of Buddhism is the concept of interdependence, which states that all phenomena arise in dependence upon other phenomena and are not self-sufficient or independently existing. The middle way. The middle way is the Buddhist path of moderation, avoiding extreme views and actions. This means avoiding both indulgence in sense pleasure and self-denial, and instead finding a balanced path that leads to wisdom and liberation. Understanding these characteristics is crucial to attaining liberation from suffering. Major schools of Buddhism. Buddhism has evolved over the centuries into several different schools and traditions, each with its own distinct teachings, practices, and interpretations of the Buddha's teachings. Some of the major schools of Buddhism include Theravada Buddhism. This is the oldest surviving Buddhist school and is found primarily in Southeast Asia, Sri Lanka, and other countries in the region. Theravada emphasizes the study of the Pali Canon, which contains the earliest Buddhist texts, and places a strong emphasis on the practice of meditation and the development of individual spiritual insight. 2. Mahayana Buddhism. This is the largest Buddhist tradition and is found in countries such as China, Japan, Korea, Vietnam, and other East Asian countries. Mahayana places a greater emphasis on compassion and the bodhisattva ideal, which is the aspiration to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all beings. 3. Vajrayana Buddhism. This is also known as Tantric Buddhism and is found mainly in Tibet and neighboring countries. Vajrayana places a strong emphasis on the use of ritual, visualization, and mantra practices as a means of achieving enlightenment in a single lifetime. 4. Zen Buddhism. This is a form of Mahayana Buddhism that originated in China and later became popular in Japan. 5. Nichiren Buddhism. This is a form of Mahayana Buddhism that originated in Japan and is based on the Lotus Sutra, a Buddhist text that teaches the universal accessibility of enlightenment. Nichiren followers practice chanting the title of the Lotus Sutra, Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, as a means of attaining enlightenment. Buddhist practices. Meditation. Meditation is a central practice in Buddhism and is seen as a way of calming the mind and gaining insight into the nature of reality. There are many different forms of meditation, including mindfulness meditation, loving-kindness meditation, and visualization practices. Chanting. Chanting is a common practice in Buddhism and can involve reciting prayers, mantras, or sutras. Chanting is seen as a way of purifying the mind and promoting spiritual growth. Prostrations. Prostrations involve making physical gestures of reverence, such as bowing, kneeling, or lying flat on the ground, as a means of expressing respect and devotion. Offerings. Offerings are made to the Buddha, to the Sangha, the Buddhist community, or to other spiritual beings, and can include flowers, food, incense, and other items. Dharma study. Dharma study is the study of the Buddha's teachings and is seen as an important aspect of spiritual practice. This can involve reading Buddhist texts, attending teachings and lectures, or participating in study groups. Community service. Engaging in community service and helping others is also considered an important aspect of Buddhist practice. This can involve volunteering, donating to charitable causes, or simply helping those in need. Ethical conduct. Ethical conduct is an important aspect of Buddhist practice and involves following the 5 precepts, which are to avoid killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, and using intoxicants. In conclusion, Buddhism is a rich and diverse tradition that has had a profound impact on the spiritual and cultural landscape of the world. Its teachings center around the 4 Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, which offer a path to liberation from suffering and the attainment of enlightenment. Key elements of Buddhist practice include meditation, ethical conduct, Dharma study, and community service. Whether one is a practitioner or simply interested in learning more about Buddhism, the teachings of the Buddha continue to inspire and offer guidance for those seeking to lead a more meaningful and fulfilling life. If you found this information on Buddhism helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more content on spirituality, philosophy, and religion. Thank you for watching.